The main reason I want to do blind playthroughs on my channel is because I like to show off my first experience with a certain video game, and a lot of games really do fit that type of journey, that type of let's play. And Super Mario Sunshine was really no different. In fact, I think it's one of the most suited games to a blind playthrough that I've ever seen. Whenever you boot up a platformer, I feel like there's a lot of things you're going to expect to happen within those games. I haven't really played any platformers since I was a kid. I played Crash Bandicoot and Spyro religiously when I was younger, but I hadn't really gotten back into platformers until I played Yooka-Laylee a couple of years back, and I thought to myself, there needs to be more of these types of games. Well, Nintendo is kind of like, hey, Calvin, there's a certain backlog of platformers that you haven't even played because you never had Nintendo as a kid, and one of those games was Super Mario Sunshine. I wanted to talk about how I feel about this game and kind of review my experience of it. It is a beloved game that kind of goes under the radar because this is the first time it's actually been ported to a new console since the GameCube, and I think that's very special. And of course, I have a lot of thoughts about Super Mario Sunshine.
What was that?
Amateur hour.
Oh, don't say that. Rin's working really hard. Vincent, what did you think of my performance?
I feel like I'm going to say something that's going to upset a lot of people here, but I want to assure you that it's very much a good thing. Super Mario Sunshine's story is serviceable. It gets you from point A to point B, but it's incredibly fun and incredibly creative. It is a story about someone stealing Peach again on a vacation, but this time with people like Bowser Jr. in the mix, it feels ridiculous, but in the best way. The addition, of course, of VO also was something I didn't expect to happen, and it improved the story by like leaps and bounds, because I was able to understand every character's tone at every single second of the game. I loved it. I loved the voice acting. It's very cheesy, but it suits that type of game. And I feel like there's a lot of things in this game that just suit it so impeccably. Yes, the story is very serviceable. It's not some big Shakespearean drama or not some big dramatic 10-part Netflix story. It is a story about Mario trying to get Peach back, and that's what it needed to be, and that's what it was. And I enjoyed it so freaking much. It actually concludes in one of my favorite ways too. It doesn't beat you over the head with a million cutscenes. It basically lets you have fun while giving you motivation to move forward and see what exactly is happening in this game. It flows really well. You're helping people as you go, which motivates you even more to keep going at the same time, to the point that when I got to the end of the story, I felt like I actually did make a difference in this game. The story of the game does have a few twists. I was actually very surprised about the twist, and apparently it's a big twist that people have known about for years, which of course there is spoilers in this review, guys. This is about the entire game, and I will say that Bowser Jr. is actually Shadow Mario. Shocking, I know. It made me go crazy too. Bowser Jr. just wants to get his mama Peach back, which of course we know that's not actually his mama, not just because of genetics, but because of how Bowser lies. Mario is thrown into prison because of what Shadow Mario does, Shadow Mario being Bowser Jr. And Shadow Mario or Bowser Jr., it's ridiculous every time I say it, but it's so funny at the same time, I love it. Yeah, Peach and Mario in the same scene. Is that Bowser Jr.?
My mama alone, you bad man. I won't let you take
What? Mama? Mama Peach? No.
Yeah, Mama told me all about it. She told me my mama got kidnapped by a bad man named Mario.
What?
So I came here to rescue her. So the graffiti.
Cease this, Bowser Jr.
Was you?
Cease this. So it was him all along. Dunks up the whole world, basically damaging it to the point that people can barely live in this world anymore. And it's up to Mario to clean up this place with the thing called a flood. A flood, as of course you all know, is a dispenser that can talk to you, that can shoot out large pumps of water to clean up the place. You can do different tricks with it as well. This story works just because it's a simple premise. It is, you want to go on a vacation with Peach. You get to go on a vacation with Peach. Point A, point B. The middle point between point A and point B is basically just clean up this place and get to see what you do in the process. In the process of cleaning up this whole place, you get to see how you're making this place a better place and people start to trust you more. This isn't a static world. This isn't just you help out a bunch and people are just like, you're still bad. After a while, people trust you. They say sorry for you having to help them so much. When in the beginning, they're like, clean up this place. You're a bad man. We saw you doing this. And to me, that is worth so much. That is worth so much. Being able to see your progress, not just in a bar, not just in the number of shines you have, but in the world around you, the people that you are talking to, how they respond to you. And that is one of my favorite aspects of this story.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a sudden urge to stretch my legs. Let me ask you that again.
To play this game is too much fun, and I think that is understating how fun this game is. People told me that this is the hardest Mario game, and if that's the case, then I cannot wait to play the other games as well, because this was rather difficult at points, but it was exhilarating too. I think that all the different jumps and the mechanics and styles of levels and missions really work well because you're kind of always learning something new. Even if you forget something from a while back, which I did a lot, there's always something new to learn, and that's what's so exciting about this type of game. There's jumps and there's different levels that work with those jumps, and they force you to learn stuff in main missions, in main levels. They tell you have to learn this eventually, and you do. You get better and better and better. If you keep working at it, you get better and better, and that's what the gameplay is so fun. There's certain jumps where I looked at it and I said, I cannot do this. I will not be able to do this. This is where the game ends for me. And then 2 minutes later, after a bit of practice, I'm doing it, and it feels so freaking good to do that. There is not an ounce of boredom in this game. And I think that's important to say. Some games have that downtime. Every single mission in this game, because there's such a variety in levels, it really does feel good. It really does feel great. Whether it be going through the dangerous and crazy and winding Noki Bay, or even doing something a little more fun and serene like Serena Beach, there is differences in each level that keep you excited to see what's coming next. Nothing was exactly the same. Even missions like collect this many coins or catch Shadow Mario were different because of the levels you were in, and that's what made it so exciting. There is a steep learning curve to this game, but once you get that learning curve and you keep getting it and getting it, it feels more and more good to learn every single time you boot up this game. There is fear, there's excitement, with a tiny tinge of frustration in this game that ends up working with me every single time. And here's the thing. Dying is exciting in this game. I feel like I can do this now. I feel like I can do any Mario game now, because jumps that I never thought were possible are now possible. But I think it's time to talk about one of my favorite aspects of the game that already encompasses everything I said so far, and that is the Floodless levels. They are some of the most fun I have ever had in a platformer. I look back on all the Floodless levels so fondly, because even as I was failing, I felt so good. My hands were sweating, my heart was pounding, but every single time you got a little bit more, you got a little bit every single time. I got to this part now, I got to here, I failed this part, but now I can do this part next time, and then you finally get that shine. It is one of the best feelings. The only thing I compare it to, and people are going to get so angry from me comparing something to Dark Souls or something like this, or even Final Fantasy, when you beat a boss that has been so hard for so long, but so fun to fight, and you jump up from your chair and you scream. It feels so good, and that's what I feel when I even think about the Floodless levels. They are my favorite levels in the game by a mile. They are so much fun, and I wish there was more of them. I got to the last Floodless level in this game, and I even said to myself, I even said to my audience, I wish there was more of these Floodless levels. They are so good. I will say that some levels can be tedious, but I just kind of skipped over those levels, and even some of the main levels as well can be a little bit tedious, and those levels kind of like, they put a little bit of a damper on me, but then like you get into a really good level next time as well. And those tedious levels, they're kind of few and far between, because even if they're kind of tedious, I knew that like the next level over, I was going to have a bit of fun with this, and I think that's perfectly fine. I've yet to play a platformer where there was like any level that wasn't like a tiny bit tedious. And here's the thing, as I said, I was never bored.
学校合格生で三時大学生に入れ込んじゃ
I This game is truly gorgeous, and I think they did a really good job with the remaster of this game. The theme of this game is kind of in the title. It's sunshine, it's color, it's vibrancy. It's coated, all that vibrancy and color is coated on a world that is small, but in the strangest way it feels kind of real. It's real within that world at the very least. It's not separated, it's a vacation destination, a tourist drop, and that's exactly what it feels like. They know what the game is, they know it's not some big open world, they know it's a world set in a vacation style drop, with people who live there, who have their own lives, their own way of living, their own ecosystem, and their own jobs. They sell things on the side of the road. This game truly does know how to make a very pretty game. It was hard to look away from anything when you see something in the distance or see a world. Gazing upon a world became one of my favorite things to do. In some ways, it kind of impeded my progress because some of the stuff was so beautiful and some of the places I got to be were so gorgeous. The stunning evening sky over a beautiful Serena beach, the crystal blues that surrounded the wild and twisting Noki Bay, or the blistering sun of the joyfully decorated Pina Park, all of that was just so good to look at, and that's so important to me. You can have a game that's so good with gameplay and so good with mechanics, but if it doesn't look good, it's kind of hard to get through it. Art style to me is so important, and I'm sorry I'm getting so worked up about this, because I think that sometimes people will say, well, gameplay is all that's important. It helps so much when a game looks good, because that will get you through so much, because the gameplay in this game is great. But the art style is something out of this world. I love how this game truly looks. The people in this world, they change over time. The world changes around them. They go from distress to joy. They let their hair down eventually. They show who they are, and that feels great. I feel like I'm doing good as I'm playing this game. I wish only though, and here's one of my gripes, I wish there was more to do in the hub world. I wish there was more, and I understand it was a game that came out on the GameCube and Mario has progressed forward. I'm not going to judge it based on that, but I wish there was some more to do in this game. I really do wish. Characters in this game are your usual characters in Mario games. There's Bowser Jr., there's Bowser, Peach. There's not a lot of them, but they do work with what they have, and with the voice acting now we get to see much more of their personalities. Music is great in this game, but sometimes it's not for me. Like, I'll be honest, like, the music is good, but sometimes, and great at points, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, this track doesn't hit me that well, or this track doesn't hit me that well, where I compare it to Paper Mario, where, like, always the music is just stuck in my head all the time. And that can be seen as a gripe against it. It's one of my gripes only, that, like, some of the music isn't that fantastic to me. But again, I'm not here to shit on a game, I'm here to talk about how much I really do like this game and how much I've learned about this game over time. Super Mario Sunshine was an exciting journey for me. It was one of my first Mario platformers that I finished. I finished 3D World before, but now finishing this game, I truly feel like I can do a lot more with Mario platformers, and I'm excited for the future. I really am glad that I bought the Mario 3D All-Star Collection, because I don't know when I would have played Sunshine. This is just a random playthrough that happened out of nowhere. I wasn't planning on playing Sunshine, it wasn't even on the docket of games I needed to play. Now I'm truly excited to try more platformers. Guys, thanks for watching this video, and thank you for always supporting me, and I will see you guys for Pikmin 3 on the 30th, with a few nice videos in between.